Um, I just want to thank all of you. This is work that has been going on for the entire time of the nuclear era, and I just want to give my thanks to everyone who has been engaged for the last 75 years. And I want to speak to my own personal strategies as to how and why I am here with you. And of course, I grew up in an unusual family. And Dorothy handed me the book by John Hershey when I was a young teenager called Hiroshima. And my very first arrest was related to Seabrook Nuclear Power Plant, which I felt was the other side of the coin from nuclear weapons. And I rely on the community. I rely on the witnesses who have come before us. I rely on a sense of humor um, and a sense of humility. I think that that is very critical in this line of work. And I also am a Catholic. And so these things are what sustain me. And the other point that John and Maureen provided us with is the question of how do we foster the tension to, bring change, as Martin Luther King Jr. alluded to. And of course, I walked onto a naval base with 6 other comrades on April 4th, 2018, the 50th anniversary of the killing of, which I believe is a state killing of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And I do believe that the nuclear weapons are the linchpin to our whole history of white supremacy, this dreadful practice that we've seen for at least 500 years. And we educated ourselves, the 7 of us Kings Bay Plowshares activists. I mean, I was a neophyte in the group. There are others who had done several actions previously. This is not the kind of action that anybody should or could take, but I do believe it's a valuable action, and that certainly fosters a bit of tension. We entered a military base, we sat in federal court, and then we sat in prison. And that is a witness to this nuclear abolition that we all are so adamant about pursuing. And the strategies, we do what we can from where we are. I think that the Treaty on the Prohibition of Nuclear Weapons is a vast improvement. It gives us great hope. I would beg to differ with some of my colleagues' approach to all of these issues as saying, we're facing a guaranteed pending Holocaust. Well, I say to hell with that. I'll never believe in that. And the Treaty on the Prohibition of Nuclear Weapons is a fine example of that. And also we have these wonderful back from the nuclear brink points that, they're all about what needs to happen. And then we have to figure out the strategies, no first use and the presidential power. I mean, we've got this general, General Milley, who, he wants to nuke China and he thinks he can circumvent the chain of command. We've got to pay attention to these things. We need to take the weapons off of hair trigger alert, and we need to pursue worldwide agreement on the disarmament, which the TPNW does provide a roadmap for. And of course, this whole question of, the orthodoxy of our political system, our religious systems, all of our systems, everything is in question, with the Black Lives Matter movement, following on Occupy Wall Street and many other movements. We are now at a time where it's quite obvious that this white male Christian ruling class has to end. And I think that there's a lot of hope. We have, as Catholics, we have our Catholic social teachings to guide us. And Pope Francis has been very articulate on this question of nuclear abolition. But it's about repentance. It's about repentance and social justice. And any religion that's worth its salt, any economic system, needs to take into account that what is good for one person must be good for all people. And we're facing this oligarchy, as Bernie Sanders puts it. And there's a lot that we can do. I have a lot of hope. My experience in prison has been a real eye opener for me in terms of what this empire looks like and what it does. And, we have each other and we have God with us. So I'm very hopeful with what's happening now and what will happen in the future. Thank you.